Welcome to all on Be a Man series. In this talk show, we are going to talk and create a global voice and hearing from our speakers that how they are creating a meaning and giving a meaning in their life by their work, by creating a sense of what is meaning of being a man. So let's join hand together to talk openly and redefine what is the meaning of be a man. And welcome and hear from our today's speaker, Marko. He's from Finland, and he's a founder and CEO of Kipuvex medical device innovation company, and he's well-known innovator from Finland who has invented three game-changing IT products in the world. Those are we are going to hear in his introduction in his talk. So let's join hand together to hear, to get inspired, to motivate, and to learn how he's creating a being a man and how he's giving a meaning of his life. So welcome, Marko, on this platform.
Thank you very much, Sashi, for this opportunity. It's great to be here.
Thank you, Marko, for joining us and for getting us to know what is your journey, how you became that such a wonderful three world-renowned those products you are developing as a CEO. So before coming to your work, your innovation, your career journey, let's start hearing about your life journey. How you grew up, where you grew up, what kind of learning all about, what kind of challenges you had. So we have a lot of these queries, but let's start hearing in terms of your life journey. And I hope you can include your these in journey and your sharing your life journey. Maybe you can bring your those memories or those challenges as well. So please share with us.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was born in 1969 in a city called Tornio, which is up north. Around 20,000 people living there. And as we now talk about Finland, you can imagine it's pretty cold, but Tornio is, let's say, upper part of the Finland. Winters are extremely cold, not necessarily any longer like recent years, but when I was young, temperature could go as low as -35, sometimes even -40. So, and obviously, as I'm 51 now, when I was born at that time, and when I was young, we didn't have any computers and mobile phones. So obviously, we spent almost all the time outside with friends. So it was very rare when my mother and father saw me inside the house. We were all the time outside, even in those cold weather conditions.
Right.
In that sense, it's quite extreme, and at least it was when I was young to grow in a small city in very cold, extreme conditions.
Right. So when we are talking about these, your being all the time in outdoor, or because of there was as you mentioned, those were the days that you don't have those technologies, computer, or all these like as in current scenario, children or we ourselves are surrounded by all these gadgets, so-called. So how it seems like if you see those that time and the current time, the changes and all.
Yeah, so like we've been doing always some sort of sport. In winter, we did skiing, and then summertime, of course, swimming, and then in between we played volleyball. We did some shooting exercises. Of course, we played also football, and always what was kind of our interest. We did that outside, and the area where we were living, it was good that there was quite a lot of people at the same age, so it was very easy to find a team and play as a team. So I have grown to be kind of part of the team always, and
right.
Obviously now also as an entrepreneur and being let's say team leader. this was a good starting point when you have grown as a team player, team member all the time. And of course, what was kind of what I learned from the childhood was that being involved in all kind of work, trying to help parents. So I've been working quite a lot already when I was young, helping my parents in all kind of work. And that is probably a reason that I'm now seen as a very hardworking person. But this is probably initiated when I was a child, that I have always been helping parents and doing something outdoor. And also like my parents, they also were very hardworking people. So this is somehow, I think, also inherited from them.
Yeah, that's beautiful share. As you said, how you inherited those hardworking traits, keeping yourself always, pushing yourself a bit more whenever you are performing, whether it's your work or your sport. So moving ahead, when we are talking about your current work, whereas you are a world innovator of 3 different technologies which are helping in human life in many ways. So let's talk about those things. What are these? What are those names? And how? What are their roles? How they are helpful?
Yes. So maybe going a little bit back. So when I actually started kind of studying, there was 2 options, that I either going to study medical or technology. Right. And for some reason, I did choose technology. So I graduated as a Bachelor of Science in telecommunication. Right. And I started to work immediately when I graduated for Nokia. And of course, Nokia was growing very rapidly, very quickly. And I got the luxury to see basically how Nokia is growing. And also, I'm a person who always want to go out of my comfort zone. This is really something that it's kind of a little bit also stressful, but this is the only way how you can develop your skill set and become a better person, so that you don't hesitate go out of your comfort zone. So immediately when I started to work for Nokia, I had to move to a different city, also quite a small city, South Finland, called Salo, where Nokia kind of started to grow. And then I was in Salo working 2 years in various roles. And then Nokia was expanding, and I was asked whether I would like to go to Denmark and do some competence transfer in Denmark. And I went to Denmark originally for 2 years, but then I ended up being 5 years in Denmark. And again, Nokia was growing very heavily, and it was actually impossible to find resources in Finland. But then it was also impossible to find resources in Denmark. So then Nokia was growing again, and new technology came on board. So initially it was 2G, then came 3G, and then Nokia started to get involved in 4G. And I was asked whether I want to go to UK. And as I said, I'm a person who is willing to take risk and go out from comfort zone. I went to UK. Right. And I was there 2 years, also in different type of roles and many roles. And that was actually very interesting part of being in a mega large company, that I got flexibility to work in different areas and different responsibilities. Right. And then after 2 years in UK, Nokia was growing again, and there was a strategic decision that we will expand to India. Asia, and again, I was asked whether I want to go to India, and you probably know the answer. Being really a risk taker, I said certainly, yes. I'm willing to go to India, and we studied the research and development department there. I was basically the first one to go to India, Bangalore, and starting R&D operations in India.
Right.
And of course, it was challenging. It was a totally different culture and starting entire operation from the clean table. So I ended up being 2 years in Bangalore. And then after 10 years abroad, then I returned back to Finland, to Oulu. And then Nokia actually started to do some changes, big changes, outsourcing and focusing certain core functionalities. And Nokia decided to sell modem technology at a company called Renesas, which is a Japan-based company.
Right.
And I was 3 years with Renesas, and then Renaissance actually sold the technology further to Broadcom, US-based company. And then, unfortunately, Broadcom decided to exit from that business 2015. And that was a moment when I then decided to start my own business. So 2015, I started as an entrepreneur.
Right.
And at that point, because I have been involved all the time in the latest technology, I knew that IoT technology is really the key thing. It's a hot potato. And I then decided to actually do something on my own.
Right.
And there was 2 options, either sport or medical. And you know, in childhood, I have been always doing some sport, and it has been always very close to my heart. But on the other hand, I wanted to study as a medical doctor, but I didn't do that. So therefore, I couldn't do anything for medical when I started as an entrepreneur. So I decided to do something for sport. So my first innovation is something related to sport. And many listeners probably don't know too much about the winter sport, but in Finland, obviously, winter sport is very popular. So around 20%, 20% of the entire population is doing cross-country skiing. And cross-country skiing is very challenging because there's so many things which will impact your performance in cross-country skiing. Surrounding conditions, also the ski performance, how good is the ski, and your technique, and of course your physics. And then I started to think that because it's so damn difficult to analyze, maybe with IoT technology we can do something that can analyze all basically these 4 different aspects of skiing. And then I started my first innovation called shashigoel, which is a sensor that will be put on the leg of the skier, and it will analyze all the surrounding conditions, ski performance, technique, but unfortunately it does not analyze the physics of the skier. But one of the most difficult part in cross-country skiing is to prepare the ski correct way, that you get the proper grip and proper sliding on the snow. And there's no objective way how you can analyze your ski. Is it good or bad? So I wanted to actually resolve this problem. And after 2 years or 3 years of innovation, we then made a solution which will or which is able to objectively analyze the ski performance. And
what it is called?
The device is called a shashigoel. I could actually show it, but I don't have it here. But yes,
and how it works?
It works such a way that it will be put on the leg of the skier, and it will analyze the surrounding conditions like air temperature, air humidity, snow temperature. It will also analyze the ski technique. There's a gyroscope and accelerator inside the device. So with the help of these 2, we can analyze the technique. And then we have some secret algorithms which will then reveal basically the ski performance, but taking into account all the sensors that we have built in. So it's actually a combination of sensors and algorithms, and then we are able to.
That's really innovative and sounds very interesting. And I believe it's very helpful for all the skiing athletes or whoever are interested in. And when we are moving ahead, does this device allow in international competition as well, or it's just like you can use for a regular basis only?
So this is very good question, and let me put it so that there was two options, that we put this device on the ski itself or in the leg of the skier. But the rule says for competition that you cannot have anything electronics on the ski. But the rules doesn't say anything whether you have that in the skier itself. So we interpret this rule such a way that you can have it in the angle of the skier, but you cannot have it on the ski itself. So this is kind of just on the edge that this is fine. But anyhow, it's kind of mostly used before the competition takes place. But of course, it's possible to use also during the competition if we bend the rules a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting answer, and I believe our audience and our viewers, if somebody is belong from this particular gaming or those authorities or particular organization, they might think and rethink about it whether they would like to associate or use, or they would like to modify their rule.
Yeah, of course it can be modified for other sports as well, but we haven't done that. But yes, because it has 7 sensors inside, so it can be used also for some other sports. But we haven't done those applications.
Right, that's wonderful. So if we would like to ask, what other sports people can other way use it?
So of course it can be used easily for other winter sports, where there is surrounding conditions are important, and also the technique it can be applied for those sports as well. But yes, this was a kind of a background of ski. It was 2015 when I started ski development, but then 2016 I started something else.
Yes, we are excited to hear, because we know you have done 3 world famous 3 different innovations. So what is second one?
Yeah, the second one, I think most of the people are using microwaves, or if they are not using, they are very, very familiar how microwave works. So they've been exactly same since it was invented 60 years ago. So you need to choose the power and time. It's kind of guessing work. But okay, maybe it's 2 minutes, maybe it's 1 minute. But typically when you hear bling, the food is either too cold or too hot.
Yeah.
So then most likely you need to put it back again a few times. And then there is a good question: how you make sure that the food is at the right temperature? Do you use finger? Do you use fingers to measure that, or your tongue?
Or the spoon, or the
something. So then I'm a person that I want to resolve problems, and then I started thinking that why we don't have a microwave that you can choose the temperature of the food instead of time and power. And I started thinking that, is it possible? Is this possible to do in practice? And then I was sitting in the sauna. In Finland, everyone has sauna. I was sitting in the sauna and thinking this problem. And then I came up with the idea that, I will test with the beer can. I put beer can inside the microwave. First 10 seconds, what will happen? Nothing happened. Then I actually put it for 1 minute. What will happen? Nothing really happened. I took the beer can out from the microwave, and it was still as cold as it was before I put it in. And then I kind of realized that we can put some metal inside the microwave. And then I continued. After a few minutes, I cut the beer can in half, put some electronics inside, and put the beer can back to microwave. And then 10 seconds, that maybe now it will explode. But then, but it didn't. And I was like, this is cool. I have some electrolytes inside the beer can. And then I actually put there 1 minute, and I was expecting now probably something will happen, but nothing really happens. But this was my first prototype. But we can put some metal inside the microwave, and we can put in electronics inside the metal. And then, of course, this was kind of my initial proof of concept that potentially we could put something inside the microwave. And then I started to seek a partner who could do me a first prototype, which the electrolytes inside the can will measure the actual food. And then I found a company who did the first prototype for me. And it was done such a way that it will send the temperature information out from the microwave. It was not still possible control from the control panel. You actually saw the temperature. There was a separate display outside of the microwave, and you saw the food temperature outside of the microwave. And I wanted to do my first test. So I went to one local supermarket selling microwaves that I will test with many microwaves whether my innovation will work. And I was watching that nobody is actually looking at me, and maybe I can put my device inside the microwave and test it. So I managed to test something like 7, 8 different microwaves, and then the one person came and started to really chasing me. What the heck you are doing? And you are just playing with these different microwaves.
What kind of maybe suspicious thing you're putting inside?
Yes, exactly. But this was kind of first test that yes, it works. But still, it was not the proper solution that you can control the temperature from the panel of the microwave. So then we continued the kind of development of that. And after 3 years of development, now we have a first microwave in the world where you can actually choose the temperature of the food from the panel. So this was kind of my second innovation.
Wonderful.
But I'm not planning to sell this microwave because we want to sell the technology. So I'm not going to sell my microwave, but the technology itself.
Right. Yeah. And then moving ahead, you have some other which are helping in human life and health sector as well.
Yes. So then finally, 2017, as I said, 2015, I wanted to do something for the sport or medical industry. And then finally, 2017, I got opportunity to do something in medical industry. And what happened, I noticed that there was an innovation competition organized by Oulu University Hospital, which is one of the largest hospitals in Finland. And they listed, or basically doctors and nurses, they listed 4 major global problems that they are facing day after day, every day. And one of these problems was pain assessment of baby, or pain identification of baby. So, babies are unable to express themselves. They are unable to say how much pain they actually feel. And that actually raised my interest that, maybe now this is my chance to do something for the medical industry.
Yes, and your initial those interests with medical was started, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't become a doctor, but maybe now I finally can do something with the technology that I studied for the medtech industry. And then I came up with the idea of Kipuvex that again it's a sensors. So to be able to measure the pain or quantify the pain, you cannot directly. There is no kind of one way how you can get that information from the human people. But when a person is in pain, then there's a certain reaction that will happen in the body, and all this reaction we are able to capture with the right type of technology. Right type of technology. So which means that we actually had to integrate huge amount of biomarkers into one single device. So we actually have 11 biomarkers that we measure with a single device. And then we use AI, which will convert all these measurements into reliable pain data. So we will utilize basically the behavioral factors as well as physical response of the pain. So we combine those two things in the single device. But then we also realized that now we are in our hand a device which actually does more than a normal patient monitoring devices. That our device is tiny, it's wireless, it's affordable. So why don't we start selling this as a remote monitoring device? Why we are selling this as a pain assessment device? We are more than that. So now we actually change the scope that it's a remote monitoring device which has ability to measure the pain.
Wonderful.
And this we have been developing more than almost 4 years now. So going to medical business, it's a totally different gameplay. So it's not like making a normal consumer device. So you need to actually apply all the medical regulations or comply with them. And then, of course, this was totally new area for me. I have been in consumer business and then suddenly going to medical business. It's
healthcare,
totally different.
Right.
Yeah, it's totally different.
What it is called? Yeah, would you like to share some more information to our audience? What it is called? How they can find it?
Yeah, it's called KIPUX. KIPUWEX.
Wonderful. And they can find online, or they can make order online? How they can access this?
Yeah, of course, web page is a very good starting point, and of course we have other social media accounts as well. But maybe starting from our homepage, that is good point. But even we have developed this almost 4 years, it's not yet on the market. We are just about to hit the market. As I explained, going to medical industry, we as a company, we need to become first ISO 13485 compliant, and then to actually launch this as a medical device, we need to comply yet another standards and also obtain a CE mark. And we are almost there. There is a few medical tests still to be done. And then we are now in the phase of ramping up the production line. So
and those are all our licensing and all can be eligible and applicable globally or particular geography?
Yes, this is extremely good question. So it's different standards, different places. Like CE will give access to European market. But many, let's say, developing countries, they accept either CE or FDA. Or FDA is a sales standard in US.
Yes.
To be able to sell this device in US, we need to get the FDA. And to be able to sell in China, we need to get the CFDA certificate. So different certificates are needed. But first, we will focus on CE, European market, and FDA, US market. And most of the developing countries, they accept either of those two. And definitely our first focus is developing countries, simply because they are lacking these devices. And there's 3.7 billion people who do not have access to adequate health services. So we are going to help definitely those who are in desperate need to actually get access to this kind of device. And because this is also affordable for developing countries. So that is our initial focus.
Yeah. And those are really wonderful share about your work, about your company, about how you associate your outdoor versus medical and all healthcare interests in your work, in your current life, which was very interesting to hear. If we are going to talk about your development as a human you are, as a man you are, how you find the contribution from your mother side or maybe any other female who was part of your life, how you see that?
Yeah, of course, our mother has played a very important role. So one attribute that I think I have inherited from her is persistence, never giving up. She's a person that never gives up. And this is something that I certainly have inherited from my mother. And also, she is so hardworking that it's very rare that you actually see my mother sitting and not doing something. She's always doing something. And I think I'm pretty much the same, that I always do something, except when I'm in the gym. That is only moment. Okay, then I'm doing some physical exercises, but but like work-wise. So I'm always kind of available for my team, for customers, investors. So I'm basically available 24/7.
Right. And when you're saying about how the persistence, the hardworking culture you got from your mother, how you define in your life yourself as being a man, what it means to you, and how you are thinking that's, yes, I am thinking this and I'm creating a meaning for others as well and inspiring or motivating.
Yes, I think I have developed as a person over time that I really appreciate equality, and I don't necessarily say what is kind of men's work and females' work, so it's pretty equal in that sense. But of course, one thing what is really great to be a man is that then you actually can become a father. So that is only possible if you are a man, really, that you can become a father, and that is probably the most appreciated, respected moment when your first child is born. And I have actually got the luxury that I have 3 wonderful children. So I'm proud of them, and I'm proud to be a father of 3 children.
Beautiful, beautiful. And when we are talking all about your work, your present life, your position in your life, your career, your success, your family, and all whenever we are talking about or we are hearing from you, we are finding you are having your hardworking, you are keep pursuing, you are having perseverance. So combining all those factors, what kind of message would you like to give to our audience as well?
Probably 2 advices. This doesn't necessarily apply for everyone. One is don't hesitate to go out from your comfort zone. This is kind of my first advice. And then when you do that, then be not afraid of making mistakes. So it's kind of very logical. If you go from your comfort zone, then you actually make mistakes, but you shouldn't be afraid of making them, because that is the only way how you can learn and how you can become a better person. So this is my kind of advice for the people listening.
Yes, that's beautiful advice and very timingly, very rightly, as you said. Take a step out of your comfort zone, and if you make mistake, don't afraid of those mistakes, because as you mentioned that how you learn, how you move from one country to another, and you move so many places, you explore the world, but same time you develop yourself. So we can see in your life as a real example. So I believe our audience will take on the same way as you are sharing. So thank you so much, Marko, for sharing your life, your journey, your work, and your innovation with us. Last but not least, what message would you like to give to our audience, being on this channel, being on this talk show? What way you feel like, what is the meaning of be a man they can create in their life as well?
Yeah, I think what is really important for everyone that life is a continuous learning journey, and really nowadays, how what is the best way to learn? I think when people are actually telling the experience, this is a really good way to share the experience, and hopefully people will learn from this type of event. So I really appreciate that I got this chance to actually tell what has been my journey, and hopefully this will encourage some people to become an entrepreneur and maybe even a serial entrepreneur.
Thank
Thank you.
you, and thank you. Thanks a lot for such a positive and encouraging word. I once again I tell my all audience who are listening and watching us. First of all, thank you so much for listening and watching us. And I believe, as same Marko said, please take these experience, learn, get motivated, get inspired, and find your journey, find your passion where you want like to pursue. So, thank you once again, Marko. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to all our viewers for becoming part of this process by listening and watching and joining us and creating a purpose for our life, being a man. See you in the next episode. Till then, keep creating a better self and better society. And if you don't forget to check about the Marco's innovation and work and his company, those details are available in the description as well. Till then, take care. Bye bye.